Okay, most arguments don't start where we think they start. The yelling isn't the beginning. The shutdown isn't the beginning. The attitude isn't the beginning. The argument usually started long before anybody raised their voice. Today, we're getting into how arguments get to the argument before the argument. We're talking about the argument before the argument. Listen, because it's a buildup. And if you can identify that part, you can prevent a lot of unnecessary conflict. So listen, most conflict starts with something unspoken. Think about it. How many arguments started because someone simply said what they actually felt? Not many. No, not many. Most conflicts start because something went unsaid. Grab your notebook for your tips and your cup for your sips. Because someone felt unheard, unappreciated, overlooked, disrespected, and maybe unsupported. But instead of saying it directly, it sat. And it grew. And then it sits. And then it grows. Now, we usually fight about the surface. Couples argue about dishes. Parents argue about chores. Friends argue about text messages. But that's usually not the real issue. The dishes represent, I don't feel supported. The text message represents, I don't feel important. The forgotten task represents, I don't feel considered. The surface issue is rarely the real issue, y'all. Now, the earlier you can catch it, the easier it is. One of the most overlooked conflict skills is learning to speak up before frustration becomes resentment. OMG, y'all. Ask yourself, what am I actually upset about? What need isn't being met? What conversation have I been avoiding? Because resentment is often what happens when communication gets delayed. Yes, and resentment is something that we don't talk about enough when we talk about relationship ruiners. I like that, relationship ruiners. But listen, conflict isn't the enemy. A lot of people fear conflict, but conflict isn't the enemy. Poor conflict skills are. Healthy conflict can create clarity, understanding, boundaries, growth, and better relationships. The goal isn't to avoid conflict. The goal is handling it better. So here's your challenge this week. The next time you find yourself irritated, don't immediately focus on what happened. Ask yourself, what happened before what happened? What happened before what happened? What's the conversation underneath the conversation? Because most arguments don't have a backstory. Most arguments have the backstory. And if you can understand the backstory, you can change the outcome. I'm your girl, Kenya, with Kenya's Keepsake, helping individuals what? Unlearn and relearn the skills that nobody slowed down to teach them. I'll see you on the next episode.